It's hard to know where the story begins, especially when you're coming back from the underworld. We have these moments in our life, often for some of us, where we go into this internal battle. And sometimes it feels like you're not going to come out alive. Sometimes it feels like you are not going to be the same person that you were when you went in. And that's a blessing. But when you're in that mode of being a warrior, all you can think of is surviving. All you can think of is what it was like before you entered into this arena. And all you can hope is just to get out. Just to get out alive. No matter how many scratches, no matter how many burns, you just want to find yourself on the other side of it so that you can heal. You can move on and move past. And maybe this sounds a little dramatic. But so many of these shadow aspects of ourselves that we try to deal with, navigate, invite to the table to be seen, heard, understood. It takes a lot to dance with. And I've spent the last few days in a dance. For me, it's been shame, not feeling enough, comparison, and grief of the duality of this world. My body was physically very ill. And when I was starting to feel better, it became apparent that there was more than just a physical nature to what was going on. There was something emotional, something deeper that was asking to be purged from my system. And that's what my body did. But then when the emotional side of things came to light, it was a lot to handle. It is a lot to handle. I'm still in the middle. But I see the light and I feel myself moving through this dark night. I have been feeling like I am not the right person for the job. I'm not the right person to live this life. And I caught myself comparing my finances, my resources, my light, my intelligence, just everything about myself. I was comparing it to those around me. And I kept saying, why me? I can't be this person that the world is inviting me to be. Within a 2-week stretch, I went from being so excited about being brave and stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that put me in line with the person that I was trying to be. And then it felt like all of a sudden, everything came and hit me in the back of the head that said, hey, what do you think you're doing? You are stepping way out of line. And my body rejected so much. And it probably is that it was my way of purging and releasing the old and saying, you know what? You did the work, girl. You did the damn work. And we are releasing all of this stuff that no longer is going to hold you back. But when those emotions came up of comparison and feeling guilty and allowing my perfectionism to come through, and by all of these other things that came through my system, I caught myself in that freeze state where I didn't want to do anything, and I closed myself off from the world. And I said, I'm sick. I can't act, I can't do anything. And I believe that was true. I needed the time to process. But I'm coming out on the other side, and there's still lingering fear. And just from 2 weeks ago would have been like, we say no to fear. We step into the unknown with vigor and bravery. And the just of right now is really struggling to do that. There's a few things on the horizon, and I keep catching myself wanting to say no. There's this language that I've been playing with, and there's versions of you that you can't take with you. But then there's also versions of me that I've been trying to step into for so long, and it just seems to not stick. And so I keep thinking that these versions aren't meant to be. And so I keep trying to reject them, but opportunities and knocks keep happening. And I said this to a friend recently. I was telling her that I was going through this, and I said, I don't think I'm ready, but also this might, and this was before I was sick, but I said, I think this just might be like a shadow coming up. I think this just might be something that's coming up for me to process, and it's not actually wrong for me. And I said, like, God will knock on your door, but like, if you don't answer, he's gonna keep knocking, but it's gonna come more faint. You're gonna not be able to hear it. If you keep ignoring it, you're gonna think, it's just the wind. Oh, it's not actually anything. Oh, I don't need to answer this time. And eventually there's gonna be less knocks. I always believe that God will knock on your door, but I'm getting these knocks and I don't want to answer. This world is not for this world is not easy to navigate. And I know everyone is going through their own challenges. And I think that we're all seeing this energy play out in our own lives in varying ways. And I just hope that I can offer just that knowing that we're all going through this together. It may look different for everyone, but we're navigating this. I've been so unsure about recording videos. I'm so unsure about myself, as you know. I think I talk about it all the time. Am I supposed to be doing this? Do my words matter? And also just knowing that they can and will and do play a part when I come on here, and sometimes it's so vulnerable, and sometimes I let the emotion get to me. And my worry is that people are going to shy away. But again, that's just a worry and a fear. I know that there's people that will value the honesty and the vulnerability of showing up and staying true to my story, because that's what this has started as, was me just telling my story. And there's a lot of good and a lot of happy and a lot of joy, but there's also a lot of challenge and sadness and sorrow and grief. And I'm not recording every day like I was, but you can see through the months and the weeks that the energy affects me so differently. And I'm trying to just stay true to that. And I don't want to show up here and pretend that everything is sunshine and rainbows when it's not. Though I will I will always leave space for love and light. And I know that there's so much good and beauty in this world. And I do see it. I do see it. I went out for a walk early this morning, and I got to listen to the birds and watch the squirrels dance in the trees. Dance, play. And that was wonderful. I had a beautiful morning with my son. We spent all morning together, and he had so much joy today, and I smiled like a million times, right? And it's been a hard couple of days, and I haven't been able to interact with him in the way that I would like to. So it was really nice to spend the day just being in his world and seeing his joy and contentment. And that's the thing about this plane of existence, about the world, is that we're always navigating this duality. And I'm just trying to find comfort in the balance and the juggle of it all. But it can be so easy to just tip one way or the other. And so many of the spiritual teachings, they talk about, finding balance and center, and trying not to allow yourself to get pulled into these extremes, even if it's extreme happiness, extreme joy. Like, you need to find, the word's escaping me because of course it is, but the center. Because if you get pulled too far one way, it can be hard to find your way back. I've been doing a lot of journaling lately. I've been doing my morning pages, but then I keep finding myself getting pulled back. And it's been a really nice way to kind of express what's been going on and to work through all of my feelings and work through everything that's been happening. It's like this really beautiful safe space And here I am. I'm recording these videos, and I've said this before because I listened to, I think it was a part of a podcast, but Brene Brown, she was talking about how not everyone should get to hear everything about your life, essentially. Not everyone is privy, not everyone is entitled to listening to everything that you have to say. And it made me question what I was doing. Telling my story in my words on YouTube, open to the general public. And I stopped posting for a little while because I had to process and think about it, because for the most part I have not filtered myself and my life. And I still don't quite know how I feel about that, because I have no idea who's even listening to this, and it's going to be on the internet, so who knows, through time and space, maybe people will come across this. But from this vantage point, like, if somebody has gotten this far into this video and they found it, like, I'm not a well-known human. I don't have that big of a reach. So the likelihood of somebody listening to this and being impacted by these words, I would like to believe that they were meant to hear this. And the ones that didn't have an interest, didn't come across it, or clicked off before this point, well, they made their choice. So they're not here anyways. So why would I censor or not say what I need to say? Why would I not tell my story in the full gory detail that it is, so that if there are people meant to come across it and to listen to it, it's there for them? And it's for me. I spent so long trying to hide and to find ways to express myself, and this has felt good and true. And so it feels like it would be doing myself a disservice by trying to turn this into some motivational video or affirmations you can use to support yourself, or like, it just doesn't feel right. This is just a vlog about my story, my experience. I've cried so many times on camera. I've sniffed so many times. I've blown my nose. It's not the prettiest. It's not pretty. But my goal is to be authentic and to be real and to be seen for the person that I am, not the version that I'm trying to portray. And I hope future me rewatches this video at the exact right time, because when I was so sick and in the middle of this, I opened up my computer, and it just happened to be, the end of a YouTube, the end of a video, and it had 9 suggested videos, and there was me in the bottom right hand corner from 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember the title of the video, but that title just spoke to me, and I clicked on that video and I watched it. I definitely cried. But the words, it was what I needed to hear. And it really helped me. And it was so cool. It was so cool that I got to help me. And in my time of need, instead of turning to someone else, I got to turn to myself. And if I hadn't recorded that video, if I hadn't said yes, if I hadn't said yes to this entire process, that wouldn't have been there for me. It was so cool. It was so cool. I'm really proud of I'm really proud of myself, and this journey is so not easy, but so worth it, and so beautiful, and so messy, and so challenging. And I am just trying to keep moving forward to the best of my ability, taking chances and putting myself out there and saying yes and taking rest when I need to, taking stock of my life and my emotions and my feelings and the energy. And it's okay if you need to do that too. If you've made it this far, you're a real one. I know it's not easy to be taken on a emotional roller coaster ride of someone you don't even know. And if you're here, thank you for holding space for me. And I hope that I am holding space for you if you are going through something, anything, really. I can't even claim to know or suggest any examples. But there's a reason if you're here. There has to be. And with that, my friend,